Squeaks.
You have a gun?
I was just robbing the place, you know?
Is that still your intention?
No, it isn't.
Well then, I suppose the polite thing to do would be to offer you a cup of tea.
My wife died, and I ended up telling this story, I think, as a way of making sense of everything. It's an interesting story because it's a novel that's very, very, very deeply loved by a very reasonably small number of people. It's never been a giant bestseller, but those who love it deeply, and I'm one of them. And I think there's something about the coexistence of magic and reality, which is its uniqueness.
You are impossibly beautiful.
So are you.
That's when you bring words like fate and destiny into it, is when almost the intellectual conceptualization of something is too big or too impossible because of its breadth.
Yeah.
But they see, regardless of what their environments, I mean, they grew up in very different environments, one being so high society and one being the gutter, and yet there is some kind of essential truth that they share, or some completion of the other's heart, that that all that other stuff
Disappears,
fades into the insignificance that it should actually fade into continuously in many people's lives, I think.
And neither of them have ever, despite being in those very opposite worlds, have ever fitted into those worlds. And so therefore, when they meet, regardless of their circumstance, two quite extraordinary and slightly odd in a brilliant way people meet. And so it suddenly all makes sense. You steal things.
I do steal things, yeah, from time to time. It wasn't always that way, though. I always wanted to be a mechanic. You know, I always had a knack for fixing things, getting to the insides of things.
What's the best thing you've ever stolen?
I'm beginning to think I haven't stolen it yet.
The film also has a very mystical, kind of magical element almost to it. And by nature, our modern society is more cynical than that.
Yeah. When we flying on a white horse over Columbus Circle in, 2010 is never going to be an easy pill to swallow.
That's not how you got here.
I was here. That was real.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, completely. Gives me a CGI next. I wasn't sitting on a barrel in a studio surrounded by green screen going like this.
With me laughing in the background.
I mean, apart from the obvious in things like this film with CGI and flying horses, what has been the biggest change in movie making over the course of your career?
I think there's much more violence in movies and television, a lot of violence. A lot of killings in television and movies. A lot of bad words in television. Well, no, not television, but movies. There haven't been too many movies just about the human condition. And this, I feel, is what is more basic than being in love, two people, for me anyway. So that's why, there's a sign here of it, and it says, "This Valentine's Day, believe in miracles." And that's on this board here, and that's true. And maybe we have to think that way sometimes, and not just on our cell phones or on our computer, everyday life. There's something out there that we can't explain, but it's there. I'm convinced it's there.
You gotta go wanting a fairy tale, It's a fairy tale for grown-ups. It's, I lost my cynicism at the door, I had to. If you read this book or if you like this story, you have to. It's about wonder and magic and all that stuff that we decide to scoff at. Check your cynicism at the door, or see something else.